Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about the distributive property. The distributive property is a combination of a few of the properties that I showed you last class. We're going to start with straight algebra, and then we're going to break it down with some real easy examples with numbers. The distributive property normally shows up in three common forms. Form number one. A parentheses b plus c equals. Since these are all letters, you can't actually add together b plus c, but we can change this to look like that a on the outside is multiplying everything inside the parentheses. So that's really a times b plus, because this is a plus, we're going to copy that over here, a times c. A times c. You don't have to draw this line going over the top, but if you do draw that line, that makes sure that you don't forget any of the numbers inside the parentheses. We have a times b, and we have a times c, and then we wrote a times c over here. The second way that this can look is, what if instead of adding, the two things inside the parentheses are subtracting? A times b minus c equals a times b, and then now we have a subtraction sign, so we're going to put a subtraction, minus a times c. It's the same thing, same basic format, it's just instead of a plus, we can't copy a plus because we had a minus. So we had a minus, we're going to put a minus in between the two once they're done. The third way that distributive property could show up in a basic form is b plus c. What if you have two numbers adding together at the start, and then the multiplication is supposed to happen afterwards? I say that it happens afterwards because in America we read from left to right, so we would say that's b plus c, let's add those together first and then multiply by a. But since these are all variables, since these are all letters, we can't add together b plus c, so instead we're just going to multiply by a. So we're going to do a times b plus, because there's a plus sign, a times c. So even if you have the parentheses first, as long as you multiply by what's on the outside to each number inside, as long as you have a times b and then a times c, and then you copy whatever sign was in between, then you're doing the distributive property right. So those are the algebra forms of it. That means that's just with the letters. Now let's do a real example. Three times 2 plus 5. The 3 is on the outside. It's going to multiply the 2 first. Then we're going to copy the sign, which is a plus, and then do 3 times 5. Then you do the multiplication. 3 times 2 makes 6, plus 3 times 5 makes 15. And then 6 plus 15 makes 21. And then we could check that. So on the left side, I'm going to solve it a different way. 3 times, what if we added these numbers first? 2 plus 5 made 7, and 3 times 7 makes 21. So that means that either way you do this problem, you're going to get the same answer. Let's go to example 2. 4 times 9 minus 7. That would be 4 times 9 minus 4 times 7. 4 times 9 is 36, 4 times 7 is 28. The difference between these two numbers is 8. Let's check and see if that's the same answer you would get the other way. 9 minus 7 is 2, so we did the parentheses first, and 4 times 2 makes 8. So with this example, whenever you have all numbers, maybe the distributive property isn't the best way to do it. This way it seems like it's faster when you have all numbers. But let's see if that's always true. Example 3. 7 times 49. Do you know off the top of your head what 7 times 49 is? Probably not, but let's see if we can do this an easier way. What if we changed this 49? Let's put something close to 49. An easy number that's easy to multiply. Like 7 times 50. Okay, but since I have this equal sign, I can't just change the 49 to become a 50. I have to make it equal. So I have to write 7 times 50 minus 1. Because we need this to be equal to that. The two things that are highlighted need to be the same number in the end. 7 times 50 is the first part. 7 times 1 is the second part. 7 times 50 is just like 7 times 5, which is 35. But then since there's that 0, we'll add the 0. 7 times 1 is 7. 350 minus 7 is 343. The other way you could have done it would have been, well, I don't even want to do it, but you would have done 49 times 7. And then, who wants to do that? Not me. But you could have done it that way. You could have done it the 7 times 49, the old-fashioned way, the old way that makes sense for elementary students, but you're about to be in high school, and a lot of you said in your flip grid you want to be engineers. You need to be able to think about a math problem in different ways. Because all those examples that I showed you, those are just like baby, easy, introduction level examples. The real example number 1 for algebra would be multiply 7 times 3w minus 5. And then you would have to say, oh, this is so difficult. No, it's not. Let's just do the same thing we did. But when you have a number, the number multiplies the number. 7 times 3w minus 7 times 5. 7 times 3 is 21. W just sticks around hanging out. We have a minus sign. 7 times 5 is 35. And there's the final answer. We can't go any farther because these two things are unlike terms. Because one of them has a W and one of them has no W's, they cannot combine together. They have to stay separate. Now I'm going to show you the best way to show your work in math for distributive property and for really anything, because we're going to be distributing a lot in this class. 2 times x plus 4. That right there is the original problem. You're going to leave it alone. What you're going to do is you're going to rewrite it down below, and this is the one you're going to work off of. The reason you're going to rewrite it is because if you make a mistake, you're going to get your big fat eraser and you're going to erase all of your work, but you want to leave the original problem. But if you didn't write it twice, then you would have probably accidentally erased your original problem whenever you erased all your work. But if you wrote it twice, then you will see I only need to erase the bottom version and not the top version. Now that you rewrote it, all that you have to do is distribute 2 times x plus 2 times 4. Done. The bare minimum work is to draw the arrow, saying that the 2 multiplied x and the 2 multiplied the 4.